Hi everyone, in this video I will be showing you how to put or update data in MySQL using Node.js. So let's get started. So for this we will be needing two libraries, one is Express and another one is MySQL. So just go to your folder in terminal of Visual Studio Code and type npm space I space Express and MySQL and just hit enter. Just wait till the download gets completed. Once the download is complete, just go to your folder and just create a new file. I will name it as main.js and hit enter, and let me just close this now. So as usual we will be first importing the libraries. So it's going to be var express equal to require express, and let me just now copy this and paste it and replace express with mysql and mysql here as well. And next thing we will be like declaring our app. So var app equal to express, and also we will be using express.json because we will be passing data in the form of JSON. So it's going to be app.use express.json. All right. So now we are done with our import, and next thing we need to create our connection variable. So it's going to be const. Let me name it as con equal to mysql. So you need to use this particular variable name over here. Dot create connection, open a circular bracket and curly bracket, and within this we need to specify host, user, password and database names. So let me begin with the host. So it's host, and since I'm using MySQL locally, it's going to be localhost over here and put a comma, and next one is user. So you need to specify the username over here. For me the username is root, and this username directly corresponds to the username that you are having in your MySQL. So by default many will be having root, but it really depends on the user. Alright, so you need to be specific with your username. And next thing is the password. So this also changes from person to person. Let me just enter my password as well. Yeah, that's fine. And next thing is going to be the database. So we need to specify only a existing database. All right. So for this purpose, let me go to my MySQL workbench. I'm going to use this particular database, new DB. So let me just now copy this and let me just create this database as well. Yeah, database has been created. So if I just now refresh it, yeah, new DB is over here. So let me just pass the name over here. So this is fine. We are done with our connection variable. And next thing, we need to connect with the help of this connection variable. So it's going to be con dot connect. We will be having this connect function, and here we will be having a callback function. So it's going to be error. So in case of any error in our connection, this will be like able to catch that error. So it's going to be if any error, let's just console dot log that particular error, and in the else block we will be just having a console dot log as connected, like that. So this is now fine for the basic stuff, and let me just now save it and run it at first just to verify if it's working fine or not. So for running it, it's going to be node your .js file name, which is main in my case. So it's main.js. Yeah, so here you can see I'm getting connected, which means that there isn't any error over here. So now let me just stop it. So it's Control plus C to stop. And now let's go and start with our update function. So just scroll down, and here we will be defining our update function. So it's going to be app dot put. All right. So for updating we will use put, and just open circular bracket, and here we need to specify the path of our function. So it's I will go with slash update, and we will be passing the id as a parameter. So it's going to be colon id. It's your choice, you can even pass it in the form of a body as a payload from Postman, but I'm going with parameter. All right. And next one is going to be a callback function. It's going to be request comma response with the arrow function over here as well. And next we will be basically like extracting this id over here. So it's going to be const, let me just go with up id, update id, something like that, equal to request dot params dot id. So this id that we are passing as a parameter from our url in Postman, will be caught by this particular variable and it will be stored in this variable. And next thing, I will be having two other values as well. So it's going to be const name equal to request dot, this one is body because I'm going to pass it as a payload from Postman name. And let me just now copy this and paste it. I will go with mark and mark here as well. So these three values, ID, name and mark, should directly correspond to the three column values that you're having in your table. So here you can see this is my table that I'm having in this new DB database, and I'm having three columns named ID of type int, name as type varchar or string, and mark as of type int. So I'm having ID, name and mark, and that should be directly corresponding to the values that you are having in your code as well. So that's the reason I'm having this ID, name and mark. It's fine, I guess. And next thing, we will be having our query, that is basically our SQL query to update. So it's going to be our connection variable, which is con dot, we're going to use the query function and just open it. And here we have to specify the basic SQL query. So for updating the table, it's going to be update. You need to specify your table name. So my table name is over here. It's known as my table. You can have whatever you want. Let me just now copy this, and this particular table should be present in this database. Okay, in this database that you have specified over here. Otherwise, you will be getting an error. So it's going to be update your table name set, and here we are going to change name and mark with the help of the ID. All right. So it will be name equal to question mark, and just put a comma over here, and mark equal to question mark, and we'll be using the var class var id equal to, and just come outside of it, and here you need to specify name, mark and update id. All right, so this is how it's going to work, and these are the column names, basically name, mark and id, as I told you earlier, and these are the variables that we are having over here. So our name, this question mark will be replaced by this name variable, this question mark corresponding to mark will be replaced by this mark variable, and this question mark will be replaced by this up id to id. So this is basically how it's work. It's like a really simple code over here. And after this, we will be having another callback function. So just put a comma. So it's going to be error comma result, you can name it this way, and another arrow function, and just open it. So maybe I can just, if you want to see this, I will just scroll it. Yeah, so these are the things over here. So you can just basically copy this and paste it over here, because it's just the same thing. If any error is coming, if error is true, it will be consoled, and if you don't have any error, let's just send a response to our Postman. It's going to be response.send, or you can console the result, send the result, you can do whatever you want. I will just go with response.send updated, like that, a text. So this response.send string will be appearing over here in the response column of our Postman. So this is now fine. That's our update function for now. And next thing, we have to just start the server. So for starting the server, it's going to be app.listen, and here we need to specify the port. I will go with 3000, and another callback function here as well. So same thing, let me just now copy this, paste it. Instead of this, I will have a console as, I will just have it as on port 3000. All right, so this is now fine. Let me just now save it. So I think that's the code now. So let me just now run it. So it's node file name.js. So as you can see here, I'm getting on port 3000 and connected, which means that I'm not having any errors in this code. So now let me just go to my Postman. We need to just be careful now. So the first thing, you need to just go to workspace and create a new workspace over here. I think it's like basic. And after that, what you need to do is you need to first change this operation to put. It's really important thing, and you need to just change the path over here as well. So you need to just go over here, and you need to basically just copy this path and go to Postman and just paste it. And you need to go to raw and you need to change this to JSON. All right, and you need to just pass here name within double quotes. Let me just name it as something. I will just go with BBB like that, and I'll just put a comma, and I will just go with mark as 1000 maybe. Yeah, this is fine for now because we are going to update name and mark with the help of ID. All right, we are not going to update the ID, so that's the reason why I am passing the name and mark over here. So now the final thing what we need to do is we haven't created this table yet. So let me just go to my MySQL workbench, and let me first use this particular database, and let me just create this table. Yeah, table has been created, and insert some values. I will go with another value as well. 2b 2b10 is fine. We just insert this as well. So if I now select this particular table, so as you can see here, we are having two rows basically of ID 1 and 2. So we need to pass 1 or 2 in the Postman. So I will go with 1 at first. Yeah, and I think we are now done. So I think there's a minor change. Double slash won't be coming here. All right. So my server is now running. So let me just now send this data. All right. Everything is fine, I guess. So if I just go to my response, so here you can see I'm getting updated. And if I just now go to my MySQL workbench, because we are updating ID1, all right, this one will be caught by the code up ID over here. This variable will store 1 and it will perform the update operation, and name and mark corresponds to these values. So if I now go to my MySQL workbench, the ID1 value should be triple B and 1000. So I'm going to my MySQL workbench. So if I just now again select this particular table, so here you can see I'm getting the ID1 with value as triple B and 1000. So let me just now go and basically console the result. All right, this result thing over here. So let me just now copy this, and let me just do a console.log of result. All right, result, that's fine, I guess. Yeah. So let me just now save it and rerun it again. So again, I will just go to my Postman, and I will just have the same values. I will just go with double B and 100 this time, same ID as well. So if I just now send it, so I'll be getting updated, and here you can see this is the result what we're getting. We are having affected rows 1, inserted ID, server status warning, changed rows 1. So if we are getting changed rows 1 means that our updation is successful. So if I just now select it, yeah, so here you can see I'm getting this result over here. So what if now we did this? Let's suppose say that we are passing a ID that isn't even present in our MySQL table. So if I go to my Postman, and what if I send 100, because 100 isn't present in my table, only 1 and 2 are there. So let's just try it out what happens. If I just now send it, I'm getting updated. So here you can see I'm getting affected rows as 0 and changed rows as 0 as well. So now what if I send some value that is present in my table? So I will go with 2b10, all right. So I will just go here, and if I just now send 2 and send it, so this time you can see for the ID 2 I am getting affected rows as 1, changed rows as 1, but for the ID that isn't present in my database I am getting affected rows as 0, changed rows as 0. So by this way we can be able to find whether that ID is present or not by using this affected rows, all right. Because if we send the exact same thing again, so let's suppose say that I am sending 2b100 again, and if I just now go to my table, all right, I'm just having the same value again. So if I just now send the exact same thing, the updation process won't occur. So here you can see this is for the last thing. There has been no change rows because that value is same already in the database. There is no need of updation even if we send a request from Postman. So basically the change rows has remained none, but affected rows has occurred. So what we can conclude from this is that if that particular ID is not present in the database, the affected rows is going to be 0. So for this we can just have a if condition over here. So what we can do is instead of this response.updated, we can just cut this and remove this as well. We can have a if condition over here. If our result, and the name of this is update affected rows, all right. So let me just now copy this and dot affected rows. If it is equal to 0 means that particular ID is not present in our table. So let me just put response.send. I will go with id not present, and let me just have a else block. Else let us just print updated. That's fine, I guess. You can just have any other condition, any other like fetch or trigger over here as well, like according to your use. Let me just have a response. So I'm saving it now. So I will stop this and rerun it again. So we are going to do 3 trials, all right. So first thing, the normal way, I will go with id2, and this time I will just change the value. I will go with cc, all right. So if I just now send it, so here you can see we are getting updated and the data is also changing now. Okay, so now if I just click on again send, all right, we'll be getting updated because I have just sent over here updated. And the final thing what we can do is we can send some ID that isn't present in our database. So I will go with 200, and if I just now send it, so here you can see I'm getting ID not present. So you can also have another condition, like if affected rows are greater than 0 and change rows are equal to 0, you can just basically print already updated. Like let's suppose either we are sending the same data in the Postman as present in MySQL. You can also have that check as well. So this is basically like how you update data present in MySQL using Node.js, and I hope you have found this video useful. I've also done many other videos in Node.js, MySQL, React.js, C, C++, Java, Python, 3D animation using Blender, SQL queries. So do check other videos of my channel. Subscribe me. Thanks for watching.